Hello everyone. This is my studio at Movement Intelligence on Vashon Island, and I am here because I promised one of my clients that I would show her a mat exercise routine by the end of her 5-session package she bought with me. So here we are. I'm going to show you some really basic work that is integral to core strength. So here we go. First of all is a mini crunch that you've never seen before. It looks easy, but it's not at all. So you can put your knees, line them up right over your hips, and make sure your spine is in neutral, which usually means you just relax, your hips are neutral. But you have to keep them there as you lift your knee. You have to keep your pelvis in the same spot, which means your hips don't rock backwards into the mat or arch. They stay right where they are. This move right here could be a core strengthening exercise for you. And then you relax your legs so you're not sticking them up in the air. Or you can just put your feet on the ground and keep them there, keeping your hips stable. We're stabilizing our hips and mobilizing our upper spine. You're going to take a hand hammock, weaving your hands or your fingers together and put them behind your neck, not your skull, your neck. Your thumbs are on your shoulders. Your pinkies are on the base of your skull. Inhale, and as you exhale, lift your neck with your hands. It's very, very simple. Your neck, you can feel with your hands, is not doing any work. Okay, so inhale again. Lift your neck with your hands, and trace the ceiling with your eye, 1 inch at a time until you can see your belly button. Do not skip straight down, because you're losing the sequential movement of your neck if you do that. And you're going to try to keep your neck backwards, leaning back into your hands so that you're immediately pouring your weight into your core. And you're going to drop your tailbone again because it's going to want to come up. And you stay here for 3 breaths. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. Now, your elbows are going to want to poke up into the ceiling because your trapezius muscles want to work. You want to drop your shoulders so your core is doing the work. Exhale, lower down. So you held that position for 3 breaths. Inhale again as you rest on the mat. Exhale, walk your eyes down the ceiling to the wall to your belly button. And this time take your right rib cage and push it towards your left hip bone. It's a very simple twist, small twist. Use your eyes. Your gaze is a sensorial device to watch that line get shorter. And you hold it for 3 breaths. Now this right shoulder is going to really want to work. If you can keep it released and move your torso instead, you'll feel your abdominals. Inhale again. Exhale. Let your neck fall into your hands. Your gaze goes down the ceiling to the wall to your belly button, and now your left shoulder drops away from the ceiling, and you slide your left rib cage towards your right hip bone and keep your hips dropped. Shakeage is good if you feel shakeage. And exhale, lower down. Now I'm in terrible shape since COVID started. I haven't done any exercise whatsoever, so you should know that this is a basic. So this is for you. If you want more advanced, you'll have to wait for another video. Inhale. So you do 3 sets of these. We just did 1, so we're going to do 1 more, or 2 more. Exhale, relax your shoulders, drop your tailbone, push your low ribs into the mat. 1 more inhale. For 3 total. On the 3rd exhale, you can lower down. Inhale, the bottom, exhale, neck falls into hands. Feel that your neck is not working. You can feel the muscles in your neck releasing backwards. Push your low ribs into the mat. Drop your right shoulder as you twist to the left slightly. Inhale and exhale, lower down. Inhale, neck falls into hands, shoulder drops away from ceiling. Tip your left shoulder to your right hip bone. Drop your hips. 2, 3. 1 more set. We can do it. Exhale. Neck falls into hands. Shoulders are soft. Tailbone is dropped. Stay for the inhale. Stay for the exhale. Stay for an inhale. exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, lower down. Now, if you notice my head and neck and shoulders are barely coming off the mat, it does not matter. You will feel it if you're releasing your shoulder muscles, you're dropping your neck out of the equation so that you have sequential movement going into your core, and you're keeping your tailbone on the mat. You're not hiking it up. One more set. Exhale, rise up. Inhale, exhale, stay up there. Inhale, keep dropping things, shoulders and hips drop. Exhale, third. Good job. Inhale. Exhale, slight twists, letting your neck fall into your hands. Shoulder drops, tailbone drops, rib twists. Lower down. Last one. Exhale. Neck falls into hands. Eyes go down the wall, then to your belly. Try not to laterally bend. I just caught myself doing that. It's a twist. It's not a lateral bend. Drop both hips. Don't let one hip hike up. Keep both sits bones equally dropped into the mat. Oop, I have to lean it back into my hands. Oh. Exhale, lower down. Excellent work. That is truly a core exercise where you are engaging core movement and thus strengthening your core muscles much more than any other crunch ever will. So now you're rolling on your stomach, and you can bend your knees and wag your hips back and forth a little bit. Rest your head on the mat, and you're going to find your high hip bones. You can put your hands underneath your hip protrusions. Try to anchor them into the mat. Now, when you do that, you also want to anchor your pubic bone into the mat. So you're making a triangle, 3 points of connection to the ground. You're going to try to anchor that hip weight as you lower your legs. And then put your hands back under your shoulders, forearms on the mat. Inhale. As you exhale, slightly lift your head off the mat. My cheek is still touching the mat. So the point is, you want to put your hands on your back. When you do that again, and see if anything fires down in your glutes or your low back. The proper answer is no, nothing's firing, because your neck, moving your head off the mat does not require such recruitment. All you need to do is lift your head and feel your chest squish into the mat. As you inhale, rolling up one vertebra at a time, keep your chest and your chin connected. Wherever your chin goes, your chest follows. And only roll up as far as you can keep your glutes from activating. No butt muscles. And then lift your hands off the mat, hugging your navel to your spine for 3 breaths. And you can try to go up higher. You can squeeze your glutes and release them. That's how you'll figure out if they're working or not. And the third exhale, you roll sequentially down, feeling one rib at a time dropping to the mat. My fingers are being your ribs. And you can rest your head on the other side. Inhale. As you exhale, sink your hips into the mat. And lift your chin. Let your gaze walk forward along the mat to the wall, to the ceiling. You can use your hands for support, or you can lift them up. And you're going to tip to the side, just like the other exercise. You're going to slightly twist. So this left rib cage is leaning towards this right back of my hip. And you're going forward and up, like the X and Y axis. Remember in junior high we learned what a graph was? You have to go forward, and then you have to go up before you can go forward again. And try to keep both hips anchored, the same amount of weight in each one. You're twisting from above the waist. Exhale, lower down. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, anchor your hips. Slide your gaze forward, out and up. Wherever your chin goes, your chest follows. And then twist slightly. Oh. And roll down. And we repeat that for 3 sets. We just did 1, so we're going to do 2 more. Feel your head weight squish your chest. Feel the chest weight as it rolls down to your waist. Anchor more weight into your pelvis. Inhale. The more you hug your navel to your spine, the more your glutes will want to engage, but squeeze them and release them, and you'll know if you're using them or not. And exhale, roll down. Inhale. Exhale, lift your head, squish your chest. Feel that rib cage rocking backwards. Hug your navel to your spine, anchor your hips, and twist. And roll down. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, lift your head, rolling up. Hug your navel to your spine and twist. Exhale. Inhale. Your elbows are reaching towards your ankles. And exhale. One more set. Inhale. Exhale. Squish your chest, squish your hips into the mat. Rising up. Lift your hands, hug your navel to your spine. Inhale. Exhale. No glutes. Inhale. Inhale and exhale. Two more. Inhale. Squish your chest, rising up. Hug your navel to your spine. Twist your spine. Imagine you're a superwoman and you're going forward, out, and up. With your back to the earth, you're spinning around the earth. That's your superpower. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale, roll down. One more. Exhale. Squish your chest, anchor your hips, rise up and twist. Keep your hips evenly distributing your hip weight. You can shimmy your hips back and forth to feel like what's going on there. Try to keep them equally pressing into the mat. Exhale, roll down. Excellent work. Now you can come up into a table. And this is a kind of yoga Pilates hybrid. So a lot of times people, when they use their core, they overuse it. So you're just going to stabilize your center by hugging your navel up towards your spine, just enough to just feel like you have some fortification. You're not going to hug it so much that you move your pelvis. You move your spine. So just draw your navel to your spine, and then do the cow in yoga. So you're going to send your pubic bone over your toes and your chest forward over the front edge of your mat. As you keep your navel right where it is. Inhale. As you exhale, just relax. And as you inhale, now you're going to hug your navel to your spine so much that it leads your middle up to the ceiling as you cascade your head and tail down towards the mat, and then underneath you like they could possibly touch. That's as you inhale. As you exhale, you just release your torso into gravity. Hug your navel to your spine. Inhale and stretch. Exhale, release. We're going to do 3 more sets. Inhale and lift. You can try to let your arm bones kiss your scapula so you get more rotation in your torso instead of just superficial arm movement. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, release. Hug your navel to your spine. Inhale, lift the middle, drop the ends of your body. Try to release your scapula, move your upper spine. Exhale, release. 2 more inhales, stretch. Exhale, release. This is not as so much about strength as it is about control, which means awareness. You're learning to articulate through your spine in every joint, every vertebra. You'll be able to articulate on its own. Eventually. Great. Now you're going to cross your legs and bring both hands to one side of the mat and turn over. Now you're going to roll back and we're going to do a bridge sequence. So actually before we do the bridge sequence, let's do the pair of exercises that goes with the first one we did with the mini crunch. So the mini crunch, you were stabilizing your low spine and mobilizing your upper spine. Now you're going to do the opposite. You're going to stabilize your upper spine and mobilize your lower spine. So I use my hands as self-correcting devices because they can feel themselves, and they can also feel weight through your torso. So I stuck my fingertips just barely under my rib cage, right, a little bit higher than my waist. And I'm just relaxed here, no effort whatsoever. And now I'm going to slowly lift my feet off the ground, which is kind of a mental trick. My feet are still touching the ground, but there's hardly any weight in them. That weight is, I'm pouring that weight into my sits bones, and I can feel my back start to arch a little bit. My mid-back wants to go like that. Don't let it. So if you put your hand on your chest for a second, inhale, and as you exhale, a sigh of relief. So you're gonna, the first thing that's gonna move is your chest is gonna soften towards your belly. That is your respiration muscles. The exhalation muscles are gonna draw your rib cage towards your core. So you're gonna let those muscles do their work by simply exhaling. So I exhale, soften my chest away from my chin, which puts that weight into my rib cage, my low rib cage, into my fingers. And I'm going to be aware of how much pressure that is. I'm going to call that 6 ounces of weight that's pushing into my fingertips. I'm going to keep that 6 ounces no matter what I do in my hips. So now we're going to start the arches and curves of your hips. So inhale and rock your weight to the very base of your sits bones, or you can even think of it as your tailbone, but only as far as you can keep your ribs anchored. So I am arching my low back right now. I am not arching my mid back. So again, to remind you, you're stabilizing your upper spine and mobilizing your lower spine. You're basically learning how to use and articulate in the hip joint and lower in the coccyx and the SI joint. So to go back where we were, inhale and sink weight downward into the mat through your bum, through what I call your under butt. And then exhale, all you have to do is relax and you go back where you were. Now you're going to reverse. Inhale and imprint your low back into the mat. So you're going to let your hips rock upward towards your waist. However, when you do that, you can feel more weight fall into your fingertips. Try to keep the same amount of weight in your fingertips, which means you're going to send your sacrum and your tailbone towards your heels as you imprint. And then exhale, release. So you do that 5 times. Inhale, arch. I still have to really focus on my rib cage drawing towards my waistline. Exhale, release. Inhale, scooch my tailbone towards my heels. Exhale, release. Inhale, arch. Exhale, release. You know you're doing it right is when you imprint, your head doesn't go anywhere. Exhale, release. Inhale, arch. And when you arch, your head kind of slides towards your tailbone. That means you're using your core, wrapping around your spine, but your spine is freely moving with the movement of your weight, the weight shift of your pelvis. Exhale, release. Excellent work. So this next exercise is excellent if you have any low back pain and you can't get to the massage therapist or the chiropractor. I highly suggest doing this little move. So you bring your knees over your hips. Your hips are now stable. I would call this your entire torso is now stabilized. And so that means your ribs don't move, nor does your pelvis. You're in a natural, neutral spine, and your abdominals are squeezing around that spine to keep it in place. It's really that simple. If you just focus on keeping the bones in place, and that's all the abdominal effort you need. So if you have noticed, my knees started moving. I'm making little circles, like spectacle-sized circles over my pelvis. I'm trying to do spectacles there, spectacle-sized circles. My knees are not going the same direction. They're going opposite directions, but not very big, really small, just around my leg bone. If my leg bone were to stay in one place, I'm going above it outside, below, and inside where my leg would be if it was stationary. So I'm going above it, outside of it, below it, inside. So what you're doing here is getting the low abdominal muscles and the intrinsic interior leg muscles to engage, activate, and mobilize your leg, while also stabilizing your pelvis. I just changed direction. So you can do about 10 in both directions. Try to remember to, even with your hands in this position, monitoring your upper spine, make sure you're relaxing your shoulders. So why does this work for low back pain? Because usually low back pain comes from really small postural intrinsic muscles that get stuck or torn slightly or frozen, and this works to kind of unravel that problem. It's the simplest way to put it. There's a scientific way to put it, but we'll skip that for now. Now you can lower your legs. So now we're going to do the bridge sequence, and the bridge sequence is much like the arches and curves of your pelvis, but you keep going. Hands are by your hips, palms down. Your upper arms and lower arms are wrapping into the mat, and you're going to keep your ribs dropped at the same time. That means the pecs are open and released as you use your scapula muscles in your upper back. Not too much, just enough. Inhale, and as you exhale, no, that's not right. Inhale, and sink weight into your tailbone so that maybe your head feels like it's going to slide towards your heels. Then exhale, release the weight, and then press it down into the mat, scooching your tailbone just like the previous exercise towards your heels. And then you're going to peel it off the mat like you're rolling sugar cookie dough and you push too hard with the dough roller and it peels up. You're going to peel your whole spine off the mat, but just to your shoulders. Oh my gosh, my hamstrings are cramping. I told you I was out of shape. Exhale, soften your chest away from your chin and roll down. The object of the game here is to roll down one vertebra at a time. So just like you press weight into the mat as you came up, you're going to press weight into each vertebra, each inch of your spine as you lower. And yes, when you do it right, your hamstrings and your core are doing the work, not your butt and your quads. Inhale, sink weight into your tailbone, and then press that weight up your spine into the mat. And inevitably, it'll take longer than one exhale. So just keep breathing. And to advance the pose, you could slide your heels towards your shoulders, really activate the underside of your legs. Inhale, exhale, soften your chest to drop your upper spine. And ideally, you're keeping your thighs up as long as you can. So 3 more like that. Inhale, arch. Exhale, release, and drop. Rocking through your spinal joints one at a time. Now, why do you keep your weight between your shoulders? Because you want to use your core. If you go up into your neck, it's really easy to use your back. Here we're trying to do core work, so keep your chest down and lift your hips. But don't lift, you want to lift your pelvis, lift your pubic bone and your tailbone up, not just your hip bones. That doesn't look very yummy to me. You want to really lift with your legs, not your back. And when you really keep your ribs down, you can feel your core doing the work. So do 5 of those. Excellent work. Did I mention I haven't done this for a while? We're going to stop there because I have an appointment coming up. I will add on to this as time allows. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.